The following is a series of stories from the life of Shrii Anandamurtii, also called Baba. 3. Baba rides the tiger. In January 1932, Sachindranath Marik, who was 2 years younger than Baba and lived a few houses away, witnessed a very mysterious incident that happened when Baba was about 10 years old. He recalled it during an interview. The local children used to go to the polo ground in the evening to play, and Babuda would come along with us. But while we played, he would disappear somewhere. When we returned home at dusk, he would again join us, appearing as if from nowhere. In the beginning, we did not notice anything abnormal, but when it started to happen regularly, we began to wonder what was going on. When I asked him about it, he avoided answering, and that only increased my curiosity further. So one day, I and 2 other friends decided to watch him closely. After reaching the playground, while we were busy playing, we noticed that Babuda was missing. We looked around and saw him walking past the water department enclosure towards Death Valley. We stopped playing and followed him discreetly at a distance. To our surprise, we saw him enter the forest in the dreaded valley. We did not dare follow him, as we had heard all sorts of frightening stories about the wild animals and ghosts that were believed to roam there. So we waited at a distance, as we knew that he would return before dusk. But as the light faded and there was still no sign of him, we grew anxious, concerned for his safety. Then suddenly we saw something that left us dumbstruck. Through a clearing in the forest, we saw Babuda riding a tiger. He got off at the edge of the forest and patted it, then disappeared between the trees. As he approached, he asked us what we were doing there. We could not control ourselves and told him that we had seen what he had done. "What did you see?" he asked. "We saw you riding a tiger. We will tell your mother and you will get a severe scolding." "Are you mad? Me riding a tiger? Who will believe such a cock and bull story? It will not be me who gets the scolding, it will be you. We all saw it. You can't lie to us." As soon as we reached home, we told our parents the incredible news that we had seen Babuda riding a tiger. But no one believed us, and they ridiculed us for making up such a story. Unable to contain ourselves, we went to Babuda's mother and told her what we had seen. She did not believe us either. Even so, she called Babuda to verify the story from him. He said, "Ma, how can you believe such a story? They quarreled with me today while we were playing, and so now they are making up stories to get their revenge." Babuda's mother turned and scolded us. "You naughty boys, don't you feel ashamed of yourselves for lying about Boo-Boo just because you had a quarrel with him?" We tried our best to convince her that we were telling the truth, but to no avail. "Can anyone ride a tiger?" she asked us. "Do you think I would believe such a fairy tale?" We told the story to several other people, but no one believed us. The next day, Babuda asked me, "Well, Sachin, did anyone believe you? Was it not you who got the scolding instead of me? Don't ever talk about this to anyone again. Nobody will believe it." After that incident, Babuda stopped coming with us to the polo ground. Several days later, I saw him going alone to the areas around the lake and Death Valley where people were terrified to go, particularly at sunset. I observed this on several occasions, but I didn't dare follow him as I was afraid of going to those dreaded places. I always wondered how Babuda could be so fearless despite his young age. Some years later, I heard about a female tantric who lived in the Kharagpur hills. People claimed that she could use her occult powers to tame tigers. I thought that perhaps Boo-Boo had gone into the forest to visit her. It was only much later when I discovered that our Buddha was Anandamurtii, a great spiritual guru, that his mystifying behavior as a child began to make sense to me, and I started to make a connection between the strange events of his childhood and his elevated spiritual status. Shrii Anandamurtii, Advent of a Mister.
4. Early Blueprint. Throughout Baba's childhood, the family paid frequent visits to his father's ancestral village of Bamunpara, especially during the hot summer vacation when the abundant vegetation and open spaces provided a cooling respite from the unremitting heat of Jamalpur. He would spend hours reclining on a cot with his eyes open, staring off into space. On one of those visits, his sister Hira Prabha, then 14 and a sensible young woman, asked her 7-year-old brother what he was doing lying down all day. "I'm reviewing the history of the universe," Baba told her, an answer that did little to please his sister. The next day she asked him again. This time he replied, "I am seeing what is going to happen on this planet after 1,000 years. Finally, Hira Prabha got fed up with her lazy younger brother. She started taunting him for his idleness. "Here you are, wasting your time doing nothing. You still haven't even learned how to write your own name in your mother tongue." Baba looked at her for a few moments with his typical silent smile. Then he went to a drawer, pulled out a piece of paper and a pen, and wrote out his name in 10 different scripts, including English, Arabic, and a number of different Indian scripts. His sister was so startled when she saw this that she flew away like a frightened bird and avoided her brother for the remainder of their vacation. Years later, while giving dictation to Dada Vijayananda, Baba reminisced about that vacation in Bamunpara. He told him that while he was lying on his cot, supposedly idling away his hours, he was busy planning out his life's work, which would include his fight against the caste system and other social evils. It was during that vacation, Baba said, that he devised the coming structure of Ananda Marga, the socio-spiritual organization that he would found in 1955, more than 25 years later. Then he went to his desk and pulled from a drawer a yellowed piece of paper that he smoothed out on the desktop in front of his disciple. The faded writing, still clearly visible, contained an outline of the organization he would later create. Anandamurtii, the Jamalpur years. Baba said, "Whatever you see today is the result of my thought processes at the age of 7 years. All my work was finished while there in Jamalpur by the age of 12.